We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
What we do not do is spy unlawfully on Americans.
We are leaving in 2014, period. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
America's public enemy number one in the United States is drug abuse. In order to fight and defeat this enemy, it is necessary to wage a new all-out offensive.
You are listening to Biting the Bullet with Luke and Typo.
I'm ready. Welcome back, everybody. We're joined with a very special guest today. The man, the myth, the legend, Cam HARLESS, the host of the Mad One, co-host of the Mad Ones with his counterpart. And dude, thanks for coming on. And the first thing that we were just talking offline, first thing we're talking about, because I cut you off and I need to hear the story, is why you're so angry with Justin Trudeau.
Oh, well, first, I do want to let you guys know, if you are hungry, I brought some crayons.
Fuck
Just,
yes.
Oh, okay. Did
got
someone
red
tell
ones.
you this? Did someone tell you this?
No, I heard you're both Marines, and so I figure that's like
Oh, okay.
a dietary staple. So, might as
Tell
well.
I
him.
mean, as
Tell
long
him
as they're,
surviving.
I eat the red ones, so as long as I get the red ones before Typo does, Gucci.
The pink ones are the best. Come on. Don't even-
White is
no,
right.
I would like to punch the hell out of Justin Trudeau, because for the simple reason of I had my name on Twitter for years, and between my original account and then my show account that I had to take over, like since 2007, I've had my name at Cam HARLESS. And then one time I decided, instead of quote tweeting the bastard, I'm going to reply to him. He said some stupid bullshit about the COVID, and I replied, "Have you ever considered eating shit and dying?" This is a schoolyard taunt. This isn't groundbreaking. It's not a threat. It doesn't incite violence. But I lost my account 2 minutes later.
Damn.
So, I had to rebuild, and now according to Jessica, I'm a little baby pig on the side of the road waiting for a bus because I'm ham carless. And dude, let me tell you, for the longest time I was like, give me my account back, give me my account back, and I was appealing and I was appealing and I was appealing, and then I did that tweet and had that situation with the Washington Post, and I far surpassed my number of followers from my original account by like.
You're like, oh, I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Reinstate it so that I can just switch the names, please. Like, that's all
Yeah.
I want.
Yeah, you're ham now, dude. Like that's you now.
Well, that's the thing with all of this, and all the people, they will know that handle, so I can't change it now if I wanted to.
I know. You're fucked. Yeah, you're stuck with Ham Carless now.
Just had to go with the swapping of the first letters. Yeah, man. Recently I also said something to Trudeau and got like a warning, and it was so mild. I mean, like I decided to go a little bit milder in some ways on Twitter, and no matter what, you get within 10 feet of Justin Trudeau's account, and they'll try to shut you down.
That's weird, dude.
Little
Is it
baby
like
petty
I don't think I've ever like quote tweeted him or anything. I'm trying to think.
Only thing I did was post his blackface in his thread. Like that's the only thing I've ever done. I never said anything to him or anything.
Here's what I've figured out though. The secret sauce on Twitter is, if you want to talk mad shit, you have to quote tweet. Because if you reply, that's not to your audience, and everyone who scrolls through can see it and report it. If you quote tweet, they have to go an extra step to go to the quote tweet and find it before they can report you.
So if you're saying the bots can't find the quote tweet button,
and also just any of their fans. If you quote tweet it instead of reply, you're in a much safer space. That's my only Twitter advice. If you're gonna talk shit, do it in a quote tweet.
That's so smart, dude. I always wanted. Well, sometimes I'm looking to get in a fight though, so like
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
jump in the thread.
He's the personal reply guy of fucking Pritzker or Pritzer or whatever,
Yeah,
however you say his name.
JB Pritzker.
I don't know who that is, but there was a guy during that Washington Post thing that was trying to make fun of me or say something. His last name was like Plotzker. And so I've started using that as a euphemism for taking a shit. And I'm going to spread it. It's going to go. I've seen other people use it, but that's my goal, is for people to say I'm going to take a Plotzker before I go to work or whatever. I just want that to go through.
That's fucking JB Pritzker is the governor of Illinois, and by far the largest governor of all of them, dude. Like, he is
He's
big
a fat?
man. Yes, he is a fat. And that's all I do is fat shame him in his comments. That's what I've been doing for like months now. Like, I don't even I live in Illinois. And yeah, I'm not even, I don't even like really go after his policies or what he's saying. Like, everything is just fat shaming him. That's all I do.
Look at this chunk.
Oh yeah, he's.
Oh, you look him up, dude?
Yeah, I'm wow. He looks like,
yeah, this fat fuck was giving us health advice, dude.
Well, when the COVID crap started, I was living in Pennsylvania, and now she/he is a national problem. But that trans woman, Rachel Levine, I think her name is.
Oh yes,
was the Pennsylvania person.
Oh.
So, luckily, I didn't have to live under it because COVID started. You know when it started, but the lockdowns and stuff started happening in like mid-March of 2020, and it was about to start in mid-March. And on what's the date? St. Patrick's Day, I went into the liquor store and I was like, I need some Jameson, I need some Baileys, I'm gonna make some Irish car bombs. And I went in, and the girl goes, I walk in the store and I look over to the right, and there's just a mound of plywood and a hammer and some nails. And when I'm checking out, she goes, "It's good you came today because we're closing down starting tomorrow." Ooh. So like the first thing that Pennsylvania did was to put people who were addicted to alcohol in a very bad space. And I was like, we're gone. And by the end of March, we'd moved to Florida. I was like, fuck you people, I'm not staying. I saw it coming, and so many people told me I was crazy. Why are you moving to Florida all of a sudden? I was like, I'm not staying here.
Dude, you made a good call.
We went to on a business trip with my old job to Florida in mid-February, and we all got COVID then. Like, we got an early case of COVID. We came back, we were sick, we had our time with that, and then. And I would say about March 5th, I was like, okay, maybe we should leave, because I went to a Wawa, and the lady in front of me getting her sandwich looked at the cashier and said, I just wish Governor Wolf was as strong and as smart as Andrew Cuomo. And I went, I don't want to live near these people. And so, and this wasn't even this was before all the big stuff happened. I was just like, I know I don't want to live near these people. So I think by the 17th, that was the nail in the coffin, was the liquor store. And we moved into this house that we're in now, like 2 weeks later, but we left Pennsylvania a week after that.
Wow.
Gone. Because I was like, it was one of those things where, I could feel what was happening. And it didn't seem like anyone else was quite on the same page as me. And they were like, "You're really crazy. Why are you moving all of a sudden and so quickly?" I'm like, "You'll see, bitches."
Dude,
you'll see.
I was in denial. I was denying. I was like, "There's no way they're locking this country down, dude." I was like, "This country will fucking revolt. It is not going to happen. Stop." And I was in denial, dude. I kept telling all my because my Canadian friends, they were like, they kept telling us like, "Dude, we're locking down." Because like Europe started locking down. I think even Canada started implementing shit before the US did. And I was like, dude, there's no way. We're America, dog. Like, remember, we ain't your communist bullshit. We are America, dude. And
we were holding on to that dream for so long.
and then like I didn't even believe it when like because my Canadian friend was like, because we were all out hanging out, actually axe throwing, and we were all chilling, like throwing axes, like drinking, being normal, chill, and then
it was like mid to late March too. It was like mid to late March. Every other places had started to lock down.
Even when when blue states locked down, I was like, we're in fucking Arizona, dude. We ain't locking down. We don't do it. It's the Wild West out here. That's what I kept saying. And then it was like the next day or like a couple hours later, my boss is like, we're shutting down. And I worked there. I worked at this place. And he's like, we're shutting down. So you don't come to work tomorrow. And I'm like, what? And then the next day I was laid off. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I was stunned. I was shocked for the like next couple of days. I was like, I thought I was in America, dog.
And I still had like another 3 weeks. And I was like, we got like letters, we're essential personnel. And I was like, all right, dope, like whatever. And things weren't really that bad in Arizona. And then they like they furloughed me, and they brought me in and furloughed me. And I was like, all right, like I already knew it was happening. And then the next day the order dropped that it's like no essential, like the essential personnel is like very specific, and like everything else was gone. And I was just like, what the fuck? Typo and I like literally that night, we didn't even want to do the podcast anymore. Like we were so lazy about the podcast during those couple of months. Dude. Like
we should have had the exact opposite reaction. It was like, pump out podcast episode. No, dude, we were so depressed that we just like, let's just get drunk, dude.
Well, no, and that at that time, when we did the moving and all of that, my podcast dropped for a while too. And it was just like, one funny thing is the day that we left Pennsylvania, as I'm leaving, the guy that I worked up there with, who was helping us out with a couple things, goes, "Oh, it's good you're leaving today." And I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Oh, well, they're instituting a curfew of 8 p.m. tonight." And so we left the day that the first hammer fell, like for real, in Pennsylvania. And I was like, this is insane. And then I went to give the keys to my landlord, and I shook his hand, and he looked at me like I was fucking insane, and I didn't know why. I got back in my car and I was like, why was he so weird about a handshake? My wife was like, COVID, idiot. And I'm like, oh yeah.
So were you in Florida for like I know they locked down for like 2 weeks, right? Is that what Florida did? Was that like a serious lockdown, or were they just like, we're gonna kind of lock down?
Well, so when we got down to Florida, like there were some issues. Like my motorcycle, they had to wait to deliver it because of different reasons, because of stupid rules and stuff. But we didn't really stop doing anything. We still went to the store. They had those stupid stickers with the arrows on them, and we had to do all this dumb bullshit. But it wasn't that bad. It just was like deeply irritating and horrifying to see all of these people just play along, and all of the people who hated me walking around without a mask on, like that. I thought that was hilarious. But no, I mean, it wasn't too bad, and it let up pretty quick, especially in comparison to most other states.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was better than what it would have been, because Pennsylvania was a hellhole.
Yeah, I imagine. I heard Pennsylvania was pretty bad. We were in the city, so we were in Phoenix. Everywhere else in Arizona didn't like do any of this. It was just the city, which sucked because we had a buddy that lived down near Tucson, and he'd always forget that we had to wear masks, and we were like, I was like, dude, I'm locked in my home. Stop bitching, dude. And he's like, oh yeah, I forgot you guys are locking down.
Dude, we didn't even have that. We weren't locked into the house ever. Like there was never anything.
We weren't really. There was just nothing to do. Like that was the problem. It wasn't so much that we were like, we didn't have a curfew. I think they tried to institute a curfew, but it never worked, or they didn't like, nobody enforced it, and it didn't last long. And then there just literally wasn't anything to do at night. Like everything was shut down. Like Typo and I played golf. Like that's what we did. And at the golf courses, and we had never played golf before in our lives. Like we tried like once or twice over the years, but then I think we played, I think I played more golf in that summer than I have my entire life combined. And
100%.
And then with that, like, it's a whole bunch of old rich white guys. We were playing in Scottsdale on cheap ass courses. So like none of them were wearing masks, and the fucking golf places, like the golf stores didn't really give a shit. They made their golf boys, whatever, the cart guys, they had to wear masks, and I felt bad for them because it's like 120 out there in this fucking K95. But I was like, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Like, this is bullshit. It's hot out here.
Yeah, that's what was so crazy about that whole situation was, one, before it all really hit, I did like an episode or two. This is when we were doing libertarian stuff on our show. Episodes on the coronavirus, and then once it actually hit, there were a lot of people who started podcasts because of lockdowns and shit like that, and I was the opposite. I was like, I'm not going to be the place where you hear about this at all. We're going to talk about anything besides this crap, because it was depressing, and I'd much rather be having conversations about shit that I can control.
Yeah,
or conversations with people I like, whatever.
Yeah, that's and like there is also kind of like this feeling, like, because each state was kind of different. Like not all of them were the same. Like especially like red state to blue state, like there's a massive difference in how the lockdowns were treated, and from city to or whatever or kind of area you live in. So it was kind of weird because like there was a large part of our audience that would be like, dude, we're not doing any of this here. And I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, I can't go to work, dog. And you're like, dude, what's a mask, dude? And they're like, people are wearing masks out there. And I'm like, yeah, man, they're everywhere, dog.
That's also our followers, dude. We have some fucking redneck ass hillbillies that live out in the goddamn sticks. So
yeah,
they're sitting there like, oh, you guys have masks? And I was like, bro, there's 10 people in your town. Get the fuck off my dick. Like,
yeah. Well, that's me now.
Well, like, that's what I thought was so funny is when we moved to Florida, our neighborhood, I think there may be 40 houses in it, tops. But I would say 2/3 of them had Trump flags out, like the hilarious ones. And I bought one of the hilarious ones, and it was like hanging in my background on our show for the longest time because it was that Trump Rambo one. Okay. No, it was like, look at this shit.
That's sick.
That's
actually
fucking glorious.
Is that not the funniest thing you've ever seen? Because you know that some people see him like this, and they're trolling the left.
It's like a double joke. It's like a double joke because it's like a joke on the left. Like it's a joke for the left because it's like, oh my god, this guy's making him like, and then it's a troll on the right because they're like, yeah that's fucking Trump, and it's like, this is great. I just live here.
I love it. But I think the funniest thing is, like, for years growing up in this, world with these two political factions, like the Republicans always tried to seem like very like high class and respectable. Not anymore. You know how many fuck Biden flags there are in my neighborhood?
Yes.
I love that it's just like blatant disregard for like
I love it, things. Dude.
But that's that's the thing. Like Type 1 and I grew up very differently, obviously. We've talked about it on our show. I come from a very left-leaning lesbian family. Yeah, and then Typo's from a very right-leaning military-oriented family. And so we grew up very differently. But then we both joined the Marine Corps. And then it just got very like you get to this point where it sounds horrible. You just like the extreme stuff. Like, because it's the only thing that's funny anymore because everything else is gray to a certain extent. And it sounds depressing, but it made my life so much more fun because it was just like it was how can you make the situation even worse, or like how can you make it sound even worse? So now, and the blatant disregard for like people's rules is one of my favorite things ever. I grew up that way. That was kind of like ingrained in me. But like I just love the like in your faceness of Trump. That's what was great about Trump. And then watching the Republicans go from, evangelical Christians, how everybody knew them as like these old white folks that are just like, fuck Biden. Like I love it, dude.
It went from no Obama to fuck Biden.
Yeah.
That's a jump, dude. And it was It's hilarious. But I think like one of the things that was the greatest thing you could learn from that whole situation was how shitty your neighbors are. Like
Oh, yeah.
how many people around you that you would have thought were just great people who will turn you into the authorities for fucking nothing. And I think if you want to see, so there's a lot of social media things out there. There's Twitter, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook. But if you want to see the worst people and find the worst people in the world, you just need to download the Nextdoor app where all of your fucking neighbors are on and just pay attention to what they bitch about, because they are awful people.
Oh.
I swear to God, it's the worst social media you can do. Try it.
We lived in this little like ghetto ass house in Mesa when this was all going down like hardcore in 2020, and our neighbors were like a Hispanic family, probably like 3 generations living in it, and then on the other side, we didn't know who the fuck they were, barely saw them, but basically
I think they were all Hispanic.
Yeah, like basically our whole neighborhood's Hispanic, and then it's like 3 white dudes. One of our buddies had a girlfriend, extremely pale face, ginger, and then a black dude. And there's just a giant Marine Corps flag flying outside. But so I'd go on Nextdoor. I don't remember why I got on Nextdoor. I got on Nextdoor for something. I think I got like a notification that there was like, a possible shooting or something like that. Right. And it had Nextdoor next to it. And I was like, oh, I'll fucking check out this app because I want to kind of see what's going on around the neighborhood.
If you lose your dog, it's a great place to rate things.
Yeah.
Like that's,
I saw that too.
The only saving grace is if you lose a dog, that's a good way to get it back.
Yeah. So I was, but I went on there and dude, during that, like, it was just fun to scroll sometimes and see. No one around our little area really gave a shit. Like I could tell, but then you'd see like the post of the neighbor that's like, the lefty liberal that's living in a predominantly Hispanic area, where the predominantly Hispanic areas in Phoenix are extremely conservative. And they were like talking about, whatever, the vaccine or this, that, or the other. And it was just like other people shitting on them. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I really love this neighborhood. And then halfway through our next door neighbors, they were like, hey, if shit goes down, like you guys have guns, right? We're like, yeah, bro, just come on over if you need anything. We'll watch your stuff if you guys watch our stuff. And they're like, dope. All right, sounds good, man.
Well, yeah. So that was the thing in Pennsylvania is we were in like row housing. And so both of our next door neighbors, when your conspiracy brain starts, which was all justified later on, but when your conspiracy brain starts thinking about stuff, you take it to the very nth degree, the last thing. And I was like, that dude next door, he will try to kick my door down to get food if people run out. And I was just like, nope, not staying around these people. Like I just didn't trust anyone. Also, random fact, I grew up in Alabama, so you'd think I'd be pretty well versed in racism. I'm not though. I'm not great at it. I never passed like private first class racist, but I didn't actually see any or hear any until I was like 18 or 19 years old. Like is that because everybody around you was white? No, it was because well, it's like, the people in Seattle will talk about, or Portland will talk about how racist the rest of the world is, and they have like 3 black people per city. Like and that's it. But Alabama is like, oh yeah, very, dude. Very there's a lot of them there for a reason. So it was like, I was just close friends with them. My first best friend was a little black dude. And like, so it was funny. And since you're in Illinois, the first time I heard someone use the N-word, like hard R, going strong, angry and hateful, was when I was driving through one of the tolls, I think on the border of Indiana into Chicago. And that toll booth operator, as we pulled up, was like screaming about the black dude that drove through right before us.
Damn, dude. Welcome to Illinois, baby.
Hey, it's them government workers, bro.
And I was just like, this seems like the opposite of the narrative that I've been told.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like my third word that I learned when I was like growing up. So like we said it a lot down here, dude.
Well, it's like I remember the first time I heard it, and it was a white boy calling another white boy that at a camp.
That's usually how it goes.
And it was like, but like I said, the first time I ever heard it used like correctly in a horrible way was when I went up north, like past the Mason-Dixon. Those motherfuckers up there, man. But no, what I found in Pennsylvania was that the racism was completely different than what I'd seen in other places. And it was like the white people got along with the black people and the Puerto Ricans, but the Puerto Ricans and the black people, nope.
Dude, I heard that's like LA. It's like LA in like the Koreans specifically, and the black people do not get along. Like there's probably more racism between those two than there is any other groups in the city.
That's how it is in Phoenix. Is like it's a lot of the Mexican population do not like the black population in Phoenix.
So weird. Like but it's interesting to note. I've traveled across most of the nation, but you can find your racism, and it's just like it's got local flavor. It's never exactly what they say, and it's not what's the common narrative.
It's like the history of the place. Like something happened that caused these two groups to like probably go to war at some point with each other, and of some sort like that, and that's why they don't like each other. And it's like, I mean, when it's shocked. I mean, dude, me and Luke are getting told how racist America is all the time, and then we were over in Japan, dude. And we were stationed in Japan at one point in time.
They hate Koreans and Koreans.
They fucking Well, we were in
Koreans.
And then Okinawa is this island. That's where we were. It's an island off mainland Japan.
And it's like south mainland.
And they are like the Texans of Japan, dude. They're like, we are not Japanese. We are Okinawan. And they don't like the Japanese, dude. I was like, damn, dude. That's your own people. And they're like, they conquered us. I'm like, oh, I get it now.
And then you conquered us, and that's why you're here. So they fucking hated us too, and I didn't really blame them for that.
Yeah, they did not like Koreans either, dude. I didn't understand. Well, like naive white guy going over there. I was like, y'all the same to me. I didn't know there was these different groups.
The Koreans hate the Japanese because the Japanese invaded Korea and held them under rule for a long time.
Yeah.
Before Kim Il-sung and his revolution got them out for the most part. But it's like, it's just funny. It's like if you want to know, I think one of the best questions you can ask people is if they're from another country is who do you hate? Right.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best questions.
And like I was talking to it's very easy to do this. I was talking to an Irish girl the other day, and I was like, I'm going to ask this question. She's going to tell me exactly what I think she's going to tell me. But I said, what people do you guys hate over in Ireland? And she was like, are you stupid? The English.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's correct.
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
But like, if you go to these other places, it's like Pakistanis hate Indians.
Yeah.
It's always like those bordering countries that they hate. Doesn't matter if they're the same color or what.
Nope.
It's just they're over an imaginary line and they hate them because of that. Kind of like how I grew up in Alabama, so I love Alabama football, the University of Alabama.
Yeah. Roll Tide, baby.
Hell yeah. And if Auburn burnt to the ground, I wouldn't feel bad at all. They're like, oh, Alabama couldn't win this year. You know, you gotta cheer for the team in your state. I'm like, no, I hope someone kills another tree on their lawn.
Yeah. You know, I actually love that you're actually into sports, because there's a lot of people in the libertarian community that just rag on sports all the time. And it's so, and you know what? I thought about this. I'm gonna give a libertarian case for why you should watch sports. And
here we go.
I'm gonna, because instead of having your like tribalism to like politics or whatever, or like ridiculously dumb tribalism, you can have it with a sports team, and then you can just hate the other sports team for no goddamn reason, just like we hate Middle East for no goddamn reason,
and everybody's okay with it.
It's understandable.
Racism.
We can get our aggression out and get angry, and the best of all is it's settled non-violently. I mean, unless I guess like UFC, but controlled violence. But like, yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, but like, let's say, because from Alabama, I don't have an NFL team. I don't have a MLB
Yeah.
team or anything like that. It's mostly just college football for me because that's where.
Well,
I
that's
grew
all
up.
they got.
Yeah. Well, and it's so good though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no, it is.
But the cool thing about it in your case is the fact is they go to war every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're cheering on these essentially war games, regardless of what sport it is, and you're getting out that aggression and that catharsis from seeing your enemy destroyed, and then you can go have a beer with your enemy afterwards and talk about how great the game was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't really like. I mean, I guess actually veterans kind of do that, or like we'll meet veterans from other branches or countries. Other countries and be like, yeah, dude, that war was crazy. But the weird, no, like this is actually really weird. I've seen documentaries of like veterans of like the Korean War on both sides, all sides, like, and they're very friendly to each other. And it's like almost like sport athletes after they're done with the game, and they're very like most of the time. Don't get me wrong, there's always drama, but like most of the time they're very like cordial with each other and be like, yeah, it was a great game, dude. And it's just kind of weird that like.
Yeah. Well, the only people that take it too far are the people that watch and are like, dude, the quarterback fumbled the ball and we lost the game because of it. And then they go burn a fucking cross outside of his house in the middle of the night. And you're just like, Jesus Christ, bro. They were fine with it. Why can't you be fine with it?
Well, that happened in like, I read this about like 1994. I forgot what country it was, but I think it was like El Salvador or one of the South American countries, but their goalie, they were at the World Cup or whatever for soccer, and the goalie missed the game-winning goal. Like he didn't save the goal and the other team won, and someone shot him that night.
Dude, that happened. Wow. So we're watching Narcos right now. My girlfriend and I were watching fucking Narcos, obsessed with it. Great show. And we brought or they told us they got to this part where they're talking about some of the other gangs that were involved with Pablo, and it was I think it was a Nicaraguan player that scored his own goal in a
Would you
qualifying game.
Where my Nick Gars at?
He scored an own goal in like a qualifying match for the World Cup, and that cartel part of Pablo's cartel went and just fucking murked the dude in the middle of the night. They were like, yeah, you're gone. And it's like, damn, bro, like that sucks.
But that's a lot better than blowing up a school, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, fuck them kids, right? Like,
how great was it watching that Uvalde video clip where one of the policemen hand sanitized and the other one looked at his phone.
It's a mass spreader event.
Right, but he looked at his phone. Did you see what was on his home screen?
Yes, it's the Punisher logo.
What?
Thin blue line Punisher.
Yeah, it's the American flag Punisher logo. You didn't see that typo?
I didn't see it zoomed in. I just saw like a more far away picture, and that's when I sent it to you. And I was like, when you gotta check if your waiver wire got pick up on fantasy football.
Yeah, dude, it was a thin blue line Punisher logo on his home screen, you know, because
Holy
the Punisher was all about, you know, protecting the weak, which they were not doing currently.
That's so bad, dude. That's
from specifically corrupt cops or inadequate cops. And then he's sitting there on his phone during a shooting while another guy is getting his fucking hand sanitizer game on.
Do they have audio with this?
Ballistic shields.
Yeah,
I don't know yet. They haven't released it, I don't think.
They have audio. But
of the transmissions, right?
Right. Well, I mean, in that video they had audio, but they got rid of the kids screaming. They muted the kids.
Jesus, that's what I was gonna ask you. Are they standing there like listening to gunshots and then? Oh my god, dude! Whoo! How can you just? Oh my god, dude!
I wish they left
insane.
it in. That would have been perfect material.
Well, that's the thing. Like I don't want to hear kids screaming in fear, but at the same time, like I feel like muting it just diminishes what that video shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should see these dudes standing there as children are screaming. That's a powerful fucking image. And that's why they didn't release it.
You know, I talked about this. I don't remember who I was talking about, but I was talking about him with it recently, where it's like, I think it was one of the dudes that I work with, but I was talking about how I understand like the argument for automatically releasing body cam, or the argument against automatically releasing body cam, is that a lot of these families aren't going to want to show the dying moments of their, you know, significant other or their children or this, that, or the other. And it's like, I understand that argument, but at the same time, it's like, in the current society that we live in, where things need to be as out, they're so not out in the open that we need them to be as out in the open as possible. I feel like me as a family member, no matter who it was, like I'd want that shit to be out there day one, like, well, because like, then I get to understand what it is.
Yeah. Do you remember right after the shooting, they were talking about how they had to take DNA from some of the kids to match up things, to figure out who it was or whatever. And it was like David Hogg and a few people were like, he shot him with an AR-15, which can blow a hole through, you know, a lead door. So they couldn't tell who these kids were. And I was like, I 100% believe that the reason they did DNA is so that the parents didn't have to see their freshly dead children and identify them at that moment that way. I think it was just a way to identify the kids without having to have that huge level of trauma for the parents.
Yeah. No, and you know, that's understandable, I guess. You know, aspect
but they're like, oh yeah, they had to use DNA because they couldn't tell who kids were because the AR-15 blew their faces right off.
Yeah, I don't.
So annoying.
Think so.
Well, and the fact that they talked about, dude, the biggest thing with me after watching the video of Uvalde was they talked about on the transmissions constantly that this door is locked. Well, it turned out that the door wasn't locked, that they were all standing at to try and get into. And then you also see in the video that there's 2 other entrances into the fucking room that he's staying in, that he's got himself cornered in. And it's like,
it was a joint room.
Yeah, there was 3 entrances to that room, and they were standing at one that was unlocked and still didn't do anything of it, and then constantly said that it was locked the whole time. And it's like, bruh, like, I don't care how small unit of a police department you are. Like, I get it. You're not Dallas. You don't have a SWAT team. Like, I get it. But at the same goddamn time, what the fuck is your job? Especially if you just did like a active shooter training on this school within the last 3 months, which has been published too.
Yeah. I remember like some of the reports, because I was doing, excuse me, I moonlight on the propaganda report with Monica Perez and Brad Binkley. Okay. And I was on it with Brad. I think it was Brad shortly after that happened. No, it was Monica. And we were kind of talking through these things, and the amount of BS narrative was incredible. Like, they did say the door was locked, and so the first hole I heard in that story was that it was locked, so they had to have a staff member come and unlock it for them.
I saw that.
And I'm like, so you're saying you took an innocent person and made them go to the door to
instead
unlock
of just getting the keys,
or I don't know, a battering ram.
They have no problem battering ram your house when they're coming for your firearm, dude.
Or just take the keys from the fucking faculty member. Like, what did this faculty member do? Like, no, these are my keys. I am the key master, and I have to take the keys.
It's a really strict ass janitor, dude.
Yeah. He's just like, nah, man, these are my keys.
But there were so many holes in that story from the beginning, and it was like, and I made the mistake of believing part of it immediately, because, you know, sometimes you just take things on their face, and I had to apologize in the next episode. I was like, you know what, I was too nice to those cops. Sorry, it'll never happen again.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, that's what's crazy about like a lot of stories, especially like the sensational ones, and then actually just whatever ones the media really fixates on, because that's the ones that dominate the political talking ground or what everyone's talking about. And it's like there's just so many that like even at face value, you don't, at least at first, I don't think it's as evil as it like seems, or how evil it can actually be. And then like all the evidence comes out, and you're like, wow, dude, it's really just evil. It's really just evil.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's really hard to do kind of news analysis that quickly.
Mhm.
And, I have some experience with it, but it's like you have a moment like that where you know that 19 children were dead. You want to believe anything good that can come of it. Like one of the things they said, that the police were there and were trying to get inside the door within like 7 minutes or something. Nope. That didn't happen. Like it's wild. And so it's a lot of fun to kind of break down these things, but you make mistakes and it's like, fuck cops.
Yeah, yeah. We've made plenty of, and when like the fucking Ukraine thing first happened, I mean, me and Luke almost fell, I think we fell for every single propaganda piece that was put out.
Oh,
like, I think, and then
the Ghost of Kiev was such a good story, but I was calling it, I mean, from the first episode, I was like, this is a propaganda piece, but I'm going to run with it because, well, and that's the other thing, like our show, like I get it on the propaganda report, you're doing a little bit different of a thing, but like for us, like our thing is just jokes. Like ours is just like, yeah, we're talking about current events and we get shit right, but there's a lot of shit that we either make up or we're just doing it for a joke because it's fucking funny. So I ran with the Ghost of Kiev thing hardcore just because I was like, could you imagine this just fucking, toothless Ukrainian guy just like up there? He hasn't flown a plane in fucking goddamn 16 years and he's just hopping around, just taking out Russian fighters. But at the same time, like we were always like the pro-Russian side because it was funny. But I was like, Ghost of Kiev sounds really fucking dope. Like that's a dope ass nickname.
Yeah, it was, well, and like maybe it's because
Snake
we kind of
thing.
Yeah, just because we come from the military, that like there's also like those badass stories that were like cool for us to hear about, like these fucking warriors in the moment, and I gotta like fight off like all these enemies, and that stuff like still kind of like I guess works on us. Yeah, gets us a little excited, dude. And
well, it's just like a warrior accomplishment. Like it didn't matter if the Ghost of Kiev was a fucking Russian fighter jet fucking up the Ukraines. Like I would have been like, that's dope, dude. Like that's like it's not that it's like cool that people are dying, but it's just like a warrior mentality, I guess, that it's not really like a good one, but
it's like we recognize that war is like the worst thing that humans can do to each other, but we also recognize, being in the military, that like when you hear about like some crazy warrior story, we're like, I mean, from a military standpoint, dude, that's pretty badass.
Well, it's like there was this guy on TikTok that I saw the other day. Yes, I'm a fag who uses TikTok.
Dude,
we do too.
Don't worry.
Actually, I follow you.
Oh, do you?
You popped up on my feed somehow, dude. It was like the couple days after I invited you on, I actually sent a tweet to Luke and I was like, dude, I just found Cam on fucking TikTok, dude. What the hell?
And dude, my shit is wide ranging. But right after the Washington Post thing on TikTok, someone had said that the boys comic book isn't good. And I agreed, because I've read that shit and it's poorly written.
Oh, really?
Suck.
I just watched the show.
I don't recommend it at all. It was a slog to get to the end of it. And so I kind of said that briefly. And let me check. But that particular video.
Did someone stitch you or whatever it's called?
No, I stitched someone else for it. But at this point, it's been viewed 1.8 million times.
Holy shit, dude. That's badass.
Yeah, a lot of people pissed off, and it's like, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude.
Dude, we were just making fun of boomers on TikTok because they duet videos and they don't bring any value to the video. They just sit back and like laugh at it. And it's just like, and it's not even like with their actual laugh. It's just silent. Like their half is silent, but they're like laughing at a video of like somebody making fun of liberals. And they're like,
yes.
It's terrible.
It's like, dude, you don't add any value to this. Like if you exaggerated your reaction and put some acting into it, it would be better. But it's just like chuckles and like gets a little mad when they say like pro-abortion. He's like, oh.
But it's the funniest thing ever. They're just,
Or those people, those boomers who like take a video of themselves on TikTok silently, and it's not a reaction, but it's just silent, and they're just like looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Like you're just
I've seen
peering
those.
into the world of retarded people.
Yeah.
But I saw a TikTok the other day, and the dude was like, we could really learn something from horror movies. We need to have less guns in movies because because guns in movies just make them cool and sexy. And I'm like, no, dude, guns are cool and sexy all on their own. That's what they are. And I was like, also, what is it that I said? Also, you're gay.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
he didn't like that. I got blocked.
that frustrates the shit out of me. And being like more of like I guess gun guy, that when I watch a horror movie and I see that this problem would have been solved at the beginning if someone just had a gun, it
kind of ruins the movie.
It doesn't, yeah, it not completely ruins the movie for me. I can still kind of get into it at like after a while, but like if you just look back at 90% of horror movies, if someone just owned a gun, it would have been, the problem would have been solved. Like problem solved, unless it's like Ghost or some weird spiritual thing, like it would have been solved if you just had a gun. Like the murder is not getting in because you're gonna shoot him. Like that's all you had to do.
But no, that my counterpoint was John Wick. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's boring now to have. That kind of said it's boring now to have guns, and I'm like, John Wick, just watch John Wick.
They're doing another one. Like there's
wild.
Like,
dude, those movies are dumb, and I love them.
I love them too.
It's like the Bourne. It's like the Bourne series. Like I love the Bourne series.
Yeah, but it's so much like it's
so much
dumb
better
in a smart
gunplay.
way. Oh, absolutely. But I think the best part, I think it was the third one. I was watching it, and I was texting a friend, kind of, letting him know different parts because he'd already seen it. And I was like, that motherfucker just used a horse as a weapon. So badass. What? Oh, innovation. Like,
yeah.
I love it.
And John Wick, like, don't get me wrong, it's a little like exaggerated, just a little bit with the action scenes, just a little bit. It's not too crazy where they're like, I don't know, like 80s movies. like 80s movies where like the grenade like blows up the building. You're like, okay, that's not really what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm going with it. But like that's how I feel about John Wick, because Keanu Reeves is so trained in this shit, because he knows how to like operate all these different weapons and knows how to like hand-to-hand combat, that it adds like a little bit of like realism. Like, I'm not saying he would murder an entire Russian mob, but I'm saying that, and like, at least in the one fight scene you're watching, you could actually see something like that happening. You know what I mean?
You can believe it. And I think part of it is, if I'm remembering correctly, the director of the movie is an ex-stuntman / stunt supervisor. And so all of the stuff they did in that movie was shot through the eyes of a stuntman who did the gun stuff, who did this different stuff. And so he had the eye for this action like most other directors don't. And so you're not going to have like a grenade blow up a building. You're going to have a dude falling down and hitting 2 stories on the way down and limping off because he's fucking broken.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I love him. Like, I mean, I couldn't even really tell you the storyline that well. I just know he's killing a bunch of like Russians and mobsters. Yeah, like because
they killed a puppy.
Yeah, because they killed his dog, dude, which is understandable.
Yeah, it's so. I have a friend who's and I'm sure you guys know some of these guys within the liberty movement as well. But I have a friend who's a pacifist, and he hates John Wick. Like, you would think that he'd love it because he loves all that 80s stuff. He loves Fast and the Furious. Like, you'd think that he'd be into this, but it's like, no, I cannot handle this level of violence when it comes to over a dog. Are you kidding me? Shut up, idiot. Just enjoy the fun.
Yeah. Just enjoy
real
it,
people.
Dude. Yeah.
Dude, that's I love the other movies that the other like shoot 'em up movies that I like is Equalizer with Denzel. Like those.
Oh yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen that.
I know. Kingsman is great.
Kingsman's
Kingsman is so good because it's got a little bit more realism. Like obviously, like with the gun, because I think this is probably our own niche, like pet peeves of ours is like watching gunplay, like basically just people going off and shooting and doing whatever, and it's completely wrong. It's like nobody puts their mags on like that. Nobody fucking does this shit or that shit. I'm glitching for some
dude. It's the Ghost Gift. Yeah.
So cool.
But
no, I noticed.
you know,
I'm not military, but I noticed that shit too. It's like every time after I kind of got guns and learned a little bit more about them, every time I see someone with like a 1911 pulling back the hammer and not cocking it, I'm like, so you're telling me that you took that gun, cocked it, let the hammer down, and then put it in your holster?
Yeah.
Why let the hammer down? Like, there's no reason for that whatsoever.
I hate when people...
Also, if you drop and that hammer hits, that bullet's going in your asshole.
Yeah, I hate when people rack their guns before they're about to do something when they were already ready to go do something. Like, I don't know why it's such a pet peeve of mine, but it's like they didn't just load the gun. The gun's been loaded. We've watched them trek 30 miles with this fucking gun, and then they're like, "All right, we're coming up to the compound," and they're like. And I'm like, oh my God, why wasn't it already loaded? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't understand why there wasn't a round in the chamber already.
The ones that like they never reload, they just like constantly have like endless fire, and it's like a revolver, and he's fired like 20 shots out of it, and you're like, God damn, dude.
Or they have the revolvers that you don't have to pull the hammer back; you can just pull the trigger.
Yeah,
and they're always pulling the fucking triggers or the fucking hammer. I'm like, why are you doing this? What and what kind of idiot walks around with their gun without one in the chamber if they think that they're going to be in a fight?
That's my biggest thing. It kills me.
What are
like
you
if
doing?
they did a brass check, like I can understand like they're like all right, cool. But when they're like and it's like all dramatic and shit, and it's like, bro, you just spent a round that you could have used. Like now you got 29 shots. Like
right, and the round never comes out.
Yeah, no.
But I think maybe my biggest pet peeve, and this is a little nitpicky thing, are muzzle flashes.
Oh yeah.
Muzzle flashes are almost never bright enough. Like they always make them look like they're like boop, and they're kind of darker and orange, and I'm like, no, that shit would overexpose the camera if you had a flash like that.
Yeah,
you'd have a second where it'd overexpose it to a certain, and I'm just like, none of this looks real, and it's stupid having these pet peeves, but
I know they're so stupid. Well, mine is the silencer thing. I can't stand like I can be in a fucking hallway and it's just like I'm shooting a guy at the end of the hallway and there's a guy right next to me and they can't hear the fucking gun that I just killed their buddy with, and it's just like silencers don't do that. And this is like when you were going how we originally started this conversation, the guy that was like, we need to make guns less sexy and not put them in movies and stuff. And it's like, can we just put accurate depictions of guns in movies so that like people understand like what this is? Because that's what really bothers me.
Yeah, because then the people that are calling for like gun control or whatever like think it's like the movie or whatever.
Yeah, because
like
a silencer doesn't fucking let me kill people silently. It makes it so my eardrums don't burst when I shoot it inside. Like,
and it's still loud.
It's loud as fuck still.
Yeah, dude. It's like when someone's going in clearing a house, it's like they won't hear their friend getting shot in the next room over. And like they're just like, oh, playing on their phone, whatever the fuck they're doing. And it's like, dude, how the fuck is this happening?
Yeah,
completely
like
silent.
Other parts of the gun that are open and let sound out during the process. Like, what do you... Gases come out, dude. They make a noise when they come out.
Well, that just goes to show, like, that just reminds me of like all the Democrats like a few years ago when they were all on TV with guns and stuff, and they're like, this is a fucking, like when the gun debate got real hot, and they're like, this is a ghost gun, and it's just like an M4 that they brought from, you know, their security guard's house or some shit, and they're like, this is a, you know, this is a kill button. If they press this button, the button, it makes it go at a higher rate out of the rifle, and it's like a fucking charging handle or something like that. And it's just like, bruh, like, what is...
My favorite was someone had an AR, and they were like, I don't know if you know this, but this AR is semi-automatic, which means that you can shoot 10 rounds within 1 second. I'm like, how fast is that motherfucker's finger?
Yeah.
Yo, his wife fucking loves him.
Oh
Yeah,
my
dude.
god.
It's like the paintball guys. Have you ever seen the paintball guys with their like
Yeah.
hairline fucking triggers and they're just like, "Brrr," and I'm like, damn, dude, that guy gets some.
He gets all the ladies.
Yeah,
Oh man.
it just
Dude.
bothers the hell out of me.
Not to rewind too much, but do you know why I said the thing about the tree with Alabama and Auburn? Did y'all ever hear that story?
I
No.
don't think so.
Okay, so that's a reference that some people will get and some won't. Several years ago, I think it was like when Shula was still the coach. So Auburn has this like old oak tree in their quad or something. It's like this really big one. When they win, they throw toilet paper on it for some reason. And so one Alabama fan named Harvey Updike got pissed off about being beaten or something and went there and poisoned the fucking tree and killed it. And I think he went to jail for multiple years for it. But if you didn't know, that's why I was saying, let's poison another tree. Because I'm rubbing salt in the wound.
That's ruthless, dude. I kind of like it.
I don't blame the guy.
Fuck you.
Crazy. It's crazy that he got like that much time in prison. Like if he got like some time years wise, but at the same time, like I understand. But damn, that's fucking wild. Like I'd be pissed if somebody fucking poisoned my tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is like a really old. So yeah, he received 3 years in prison.
Damn, dude.
For
That's
poisoning
intense.
the Tumors Corner oak tree.
Was he like a player or is this like a fan?
It was a fan. Like I'm pretty sure he was a cop.
He didn't even actually go to either school. He's just like, I grew up with some fucking. Whoever.
I grew up Roll Tide.
Yeah, Roll Tide, baby. That's fucking wild.
That is one thing I like about Alabama people. I don't really watch college or football or anything like that, but like Alabama people, they are so damn proud of Alabama. Like it's pretty fucking crazy. I love it.
Well, it's like there are things. Well, and it's also like really cool, like when you're out of the state meeting someone who is in, because you can just say Roll Tide. And they, regardless of what part they're in or if they're Alabama fans or not, they know what they're doing. They go, oh, that's another Alabamian. But, like, I don't know how many people are going around saying woo pig suey and gaining friends.
That is true. That is true.
War Eagle, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, ours is, so I'm a U of A fan in Arizona, and I live in Phoenix, which is the home of fucking Forkum, which is 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. They do this shit all the time.
That's their
but
fucking thing.
I'm a
What's
U of
the
A
mascot?
fan. It's a
Sun Devil.
But since I'm a U of A fan, yeah, so he has like a little,
What the
his
fuck
tail
is a Sun
has.
Devil?
Yeah, this is instead
it's
of like
a devil. It's a legitimate devil. Like it's just a devil that's maroon and yellow. But I'm a fucking U of A fan, and we're the Wildcat, or they're the Wildcats, and theirs is bear down. So like that's an easy one to say, and you could say bear down, and other people are like, U of A, because everybody's in Phoenix, because nobody wants to live in Tucson. There's just a better basketball school down there, but nobody wants to fucking live there, and the school is honestly shit. But fuck ASU.
What I love about Alabama, though, and football and the surrounding culture is, so if you go to Alabama or Auburn, so Auburn first, you'll say Auburn, and they'll say War Eagle, and you'll think, oh, so your mascot's an eagle. No, it's a tiger. So why do you say eagle? And they have an eagle that they fly around the stadium or something. But it's like these two different things. But then you go to Alabama, and you go Roll Tide, and they say, what's your name? It's like the Crimson Tide. And so what's your mascot? An elephant. And I just love that, because it's like, why? And the story behind it is when they very first started and they got into one of those stadiums, and the players would be in the arch before they came through, they'd be making so much noise that it sounded like an elephant. And so that's where they got Big Al, the elephant mascot. But they're not elephants. It's not that's not a mascot at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mascot, but it's not the Alabama Elephants. They're the Crimson Tide, and so we say Roll Tide.
Dude, that's what's kind of weird about the Suns when I was in Phoenix, because they're called the Phoenix Suns, the basketball team, and I thought their mascot would be some like, you know, sun or at least bright thing. It's a fucking gorilla, dude. It's a fucking gorilla, dude.
I love it. I can't tell you how much I love that shit.
Here, I'll tell you.
What's
All
that
right, so
Phillies mascot? Grumpy or whatever?
oh yeah, with the
that was a
belly,
weird-
where he does the belly thing.
What is that thing?
I have
don't
no
know.
idea. I just see videos of it.
So this is the reason for the Sun's gorilla, I guess. I never actually knew the story, but it started in 1979 when Henry Rojas, a West Phoenix native, was working part-time doing singing telegrams. He was delivering one to a fan at the Suns game at Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum, dressed in a gorilla suit. And he didn't want to be seen as an idiot inside of a costume, and he doesn't even like mascots. And it became such a sensation that they kept a gorilla as the mascot at Suns games.
That's awesome. I love stories.
Yeah,
like that.
I love that.
I love
it
when
makes
it's like,
it makes no sense on the surface, but if you're in the culture, you get it.
I love that. I love that stuff. What was the one? I had one in mind that I thought was real interesting, but I've completely blanked on it.
So there's the Philly Fanatic is the one for the
Yeah,
Philadelphia
right,
Phillies.
Right.
And I don't even know what he is.
Yeah, what is that? I don't even.
So it says the Phillies Fanatic was introduced to the public on the locally produced children's show Captain Noah and His Magical Ark by then Phillies player Tim McCarver. It debuted at Veterans Stadium on April 25th, 1978. I don't know what it is though.
Well, what's going on about the 70s where they created like the 70s, they just created these weird inside stories, and all of a sudden now all these mascots are blowing up.
You know what the sad story is, though, is Ole Miss. I don't know if you know much about them, but for decades they were the Ole Miss Rebels, and there was kind of a dude that kind of looked like Robert E. Lee or something, some Confederate type dude, and for years they had that. No one had any issues with it, and then over the last several years, they were kind of forced to change it. So they're no longer the Ole Miss Rebels; they're just the Ole Miss Black Bears.
Is that what
That's
they are?
so lame.
It's sad. You lose all sorts of history. I mean, it's kind of like the Washington. What are they now? Commanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to be the
Commanders is
Redskins.
more racist than fucking.
Dude, yeah, I was like, they changed.
They went from the Redskins to the Commanders, which is like
okay.
The people that slaughtered them.
Yeah.
The Philly Fanatic is a large, furry, green, bipedal, flightless bird with an extendable tongue.
Wow.
Weird. Why would they choose a flightless bird? Oh, and Ole Miss's mascot is now Tony the Land Shark.
What? They've because they were saying it was gonna. I haven't checked in a while.
So
it was supposed to be.
So as Rebel the Bear was Ole Miss's mascot for 7 whole years, but it never really caught on. Finally, in 2017, another competition which was held in which the student body chose a new mascot, Tony the Land Shark.
I hate it.
Yeah,
Me
it's kinda,
too.
well, and like, I don't know, Mississippi? Is there a lot of sharks in like on the coast of Mississippi? Like,
well, it's even a land shark.
yeah,
I don't even
it
know
makes
what
it
a
even
land
worse.
shark is.
It's a flat-headed shark.
Dude, the
I don't
Ole
know if
Miss
you can-
Rebels were so much better. Just look up Colonel
I know.
Rev.
Yeah, he looks
Like,
dope.
Like, come on.
I think
Except
I've
for
seen pictures of
Caucasians.
it. Yeah.
Let's see if I can. Oh,
Oh.
it's not gonna show up.
You suck.
Fuck this thing.
You suck.
I know. If I do it on my computer though, the whole thing will fucking freeze for some goddamn reason.
Dude, I don't know how to segue this, so I'm just gonna ask you. So when you destroyed the Washington Post, when you blew them up, like, did you expect that tweet to have so much damage on them?
No.
Did you see that tweet on TikTok? Somebody say it on TikTok and then you posted it on
No.
Twitter?
I saw it on TikTok afterwards, but it
Okay.
was in a group chat on Twitter.
Okay.
Someone said it, and I was like, "That shit's funny. I'm gonna steal it."
Yeah,
from
it's
you and
just
post
fucking
it."
hilarious. I saw it on
Um,
TikTok like the week before you had posted it. And then you posted
Okay.
it, and I was like, that shit's hilarious. And I thought that joke was so funny when I saw
Right.
it on TikTok. And then you posted it, and I was like, instant retweet. And then it blew up
Dude,
everywhere.
So So the company that I work with, when I was interviewing for the position, there was another guy that was also interviewing, and either of us would have gotten it. They made the decision for me because I was already like in the culture before I was in the culture, or something gay like that. But they told I was talking to the my boss like maybe a week before, and she was telling me that they chose me because it would be better for whatever. She said, but you and this other guy were really close, and he was a very like detail oriented, quiet, mousy type person, and we didn't really need that. We needed someone who was a talker and who could be with customers and who would make it fun within our culture. And she said, "What? We had some trepidations because of you have a podcast and all of this." By the way, when they were doing this, I shut down my Twitter because that wasn't gonna help me. But
I already know where this is going, dude.
but so my boss apparently watched 5 episodes of my show, and other people in the that were in that process were like really worried about me getting them canceled or them getting in trouble by something that I would say. And she was like, but after we deliberated over it for a few days, we went to the founder, and this is a Australian company. We went to the founder and we asked him, and he said, "No, fuck that. Hire him. If he's good, he's good. I don't give a shit if he gets canceled. We'll stand behind him."
Oh, that's
dope. Like, whoa.
Okay, I was thinking it was going somewhere else, but yeah, that's awesome.
I was like, whoa, that's great. And then it happened, and she laughed so fucking hard. She called me a couple of days after she saw my face on her Facebook page in Australia from some friend who had screen grabbed one of my tweets, and she was like, "Is that our Cam?" Because what I did is I think that tweet hit like 1,000 likes, and I was like, "This isn't the worst tweet. It's not even bad, really. It's kind of like off color, barely."
Yeah.
But
that was the biggest thing, dude. It wasn't that fucking crazy,
right? But it hit like 1,000 likes, and I was like, "Holy shit, why?" I mean, I've had 1,000 like tweets before, but like this one, why? And so I was like, I'm gonna be safe, and I went to my LinkedIn and I shut it down, deleted it, got rid of it, because I didn't want these people finding where I work. And literally, it kept growing, and probably 500 or 1,000 likes later, I saw 3 or 4 different people trying to find my information online. And they couldn't find
Dude,
it.
You have a fucking spidey sense, dude.
I swear to
God. You sensed the lockdowns coming. You're like, we're going to Florida. We're giving up everything, and we're going to fucking Florida. And then now you get a tweet with 1,000 likes. I wouldn't even be like concerned. I would just be like, that's a pretty good tweet. And then there's no way.
Would be like, fuck yeah, 1,000 likes, and be sharing it on his personal Facebook page.
On my Facebook.
But like, that's the thing. Like, usually when I get that many likes, it's over an extended period of time.
Right.
This happened fast.
Okay.
And I was like, this worries me. Let me shut this down so I don't get fired. And I did. No one knew where I was. I saw people trying to find me, and they were like, I can only find a guy in North Dakota by that name, and this is where he just
destroyed his whole career.
Right, I'm just like, not me, motherfucker. But so I was like, I don't know why this is. People are, you know why I think it went as far as it did? I tweeted on the first day of Pride Month.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly why.
And it was one of those things, and I had it in mind when I did it, like, well, this will be funny because it's the first day of Pride Month, but I think a lot of people are just fucking tired of the overbearing nature of Pride Month now. Like, it's just gotten so corporate and gross. Yeah. Like, people are tired of it, so they see something like this, they're like, fuck you. And I think that's kind of how it grew initially. But so Dave Weigel retweeted it. And I didn't see that. I didn't see him retweet it. Also, didn't know who the fuck he was.
Yeah, no, for
Never
real.
heard of that man in my life. And so I go to look at, because someone sent me something like the Felicia Sonmez tweet. And I was like, I didn't even see this dude tweet or retweet it. And by the time he did it, he'd already unretweeted it and apologized. And so my reaction was, it's super strange to see someone else apologize for something you wrote.
Yeah.
That's
what?
super weird.
It's really this bizarre place. And so after that, I was just like, so he may get the first person who alerted me to the fact that that dude might get suspended was Tet.
Oh yeah,
Because Tet was like, man, I'm so jealous of you right now because you shit posted, and you might get a journalist fired. And I was like, it won't go that far. And then he got suspended for 30 days. And I was like, could this have happened to a person who hates the corporate press more? I don't think so. Like, this was just like this and one of my friends was like, I don't know if anyone would have been able to do it and finagle the shit out of it that you did. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, you were cackling on the sidelines and keeping it going and pushing people to keep pushing it forward. And I was like, well, yeah, because that's the fun of it. And they're like, she goes, how many people who've been fired over retweeting something, which has happened before, how many times have you heard from the guy who tweeted it originally? And I was like, never. I can't think of a time that happened. And she was like, you squeezed all the juice out of that moment, and that's amazing. And I was like, yeah, no, I agree. I had fun. Also, it was fucking exhausting. Have you tried to be like on comedically for a week straight?
Oh yeah, every time I get a Twitter post that goes to 1,000 likes.
But no, like,
I'm like, I gotta take this chance. I gotta take this opportunity.
And it's like, when it happened, it was like, I've got to tweet things and respond in jokes that other people won't get to the jokes, or the angle is different than what everyone else will say. And so like for a week I was on this high and I was tweeting up a storm, and by the end of it I was like, I need to sleep for a year. Like it was ridiculous. But yeah, so this guy named Matt, I think his name's Matt Montgomery, who worked for The Spectator, just messaged me and he said, hey man, do you want to write an article for The Spectator about what's going on? And I said, okay. He's like, what do you think it'd be on? And I was like, well, I do think that this is a symptom of culture in decline, and I, kind of, nice it up, journalist it up so that I could get him to let me write it. And then he was like, yeah, cool. Go ahead and give me and so like that Saturday after it happened, I spent 20 minutes, I wrote it, I sent it to him, and I went on with my day. And then I threw in my insults throughout the article as well. I don't know if y'all read it. I'll send it to you if you haven't.
Yes.
But I threw in a couple of insults here or there and tried to make a greater point about comedy. And like maybe the next day, that guy emailed me again or messaged me again and said, hey, do you want to go on Tucker Carlson?
Holy fuck, dude.
And people had said that I was going to end up on Tucker Carlson. I was like, no, that's dumb. Why would that happen? And I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. And I think it was like Monday or Tuesday when that happened, like a couple days later. But he goes, yeah, Tucker read your piece and he loved it, and he wants to have you on to talk about this. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking badass.
We were sitting over here like, one of our own.
That was the funniest thing. I've never told anyone that I'm a comedian, but everyone was labeling me a comedian. And I guess I am in some of that new wave comedy way.
Yeah.
But I never would have called myself that. And now I'm actually starting to do haven't done it yet, but I'm working on a tight 5-minute set so that I can do open mics and actually do that now. Because I want to actually earn that label.
It's so much fun. Like I don't like, obviously Typo and I aren't comedians, and I have not even put in quite the effort of trying to do a 5-minute set or anything like that, but it seems like such a rewarding job, and that's all we try to do on our show is like make people laugh and like have a good time.
But no, so I'm gonna try that now. But everyone kept calling me a comedian, so I say, am I going to do it from my house? I have my setup from when I do my podcast. I can do this very easily. She was like, no, we're going to take you to a studio and we're going to have you do it there. It's like, okay. And so they send one of those black Cadillacs that the CIA picks people up off the street on and kills them and dumps their body elsewhere. They sent one of those to me.
You're like, oh shit, this is a setup.
I'm going to die. They're going to kill me. But no, I got in, and the driver was Palestinian and so I was just trying not to talk because my phone's going crazy. I don't know if the amount of notifications, dude, was
I bet it's insane. I bet
My
it's
phone
insane.
died about halfway through the day. Wow. Every day for that time period. I had to keep it on a charger. But I'm just kind of trying to mind my own business. And he chatted a little bit. Where are you going? What are you doing? And I kind of told him the gist of it. And I just asked him some questions about Palestine and Israel and stuff like that. Because I was like, I've had people, I had a friend who was Israeli who recently asked me what I thought the solution was. And so I was asking him, what do you think the solution should be there, since you're Palestinian, you know the area? He goes, you tell me what your solution is first. And I was like, I'm American. I'm not an Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. I don't know how the fuck your culture works. I have no say in this. I don't want to have a say in it. And he goes, the best answer an American can give. I was like, thanks. But then he just said, I think both sides need to realize that there's a problem, and neither of them are acting like there's actually a problem. I was like, huh. And then he goes, have you ever read antiwar.com?
You're like,
oh,
fuck
wow.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I know some of the guys from there. I know Scott Horton pretty well. And he goes, I don't know the name Scott Horton. I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, what's the other guy's name? And I was like, Justin Raimondo. And he goes, yes. He goes, yeah. Rest in peace. I loved that man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we had this kind of anti-war conversation on the way there. And when I talked to the people at Tucker, they were like, we're going to talk about your article, obviously. Is there anything else you would like to talk about when you're talking to Tucker? I was like, sure. And I kind of gave them a little breakdown of my feelings on the corporate press. And they were like, I really love this angle. Let's definitely do that. But I talked to this Palestinian dude about anti-war on the way to this thing. And so when I start talking, I found out earlier that day that Dave Weigel had sabotaged an anti-war protest when the Iraq War was happening, and that he was very pro-Iraq War. I think he's tweeted once that he was sorry, but I made the joke to Tucker, well, fuck that guy. He was for the Iraq War. Get fired. I don't give a shit. I was trying to play it kind of somewhat safe in the way I said it so I could stay on, but yeah. I talked about the anti-war stuff a little bit, and then it seemed like he cut me off because it was only like 90 seconds, and then he went and monologued. I'm like 70% sure that I scared him off, that he was going to talk to me more, but he didn't know where I was going to go when I started out of the gate anti-war.
Okay.
You're like, damn it.
Yeah, but I mean, I was able to make a real point on the show rather than just suck my own dick on air. But no, that was cool. But what was funny about it is I get done after that 90 seconds, and I'm just leaving, going to the car, and if you use your phone on Twitter and you reopen it later and you're on the notifications, it'll keep you where you were, what notification you were looking at last, and let you scroll up. It took me 22 minutes to scroll to the top of my notification feed. Followers, tweets, all sorts of stuff. It literally, took me 20 minutes to get to the top of it. I was like, insane. Holy shit. And I'm still under 7,000, so I'm not one of the big boys now, and I'm not famous by any stretch. But it's like, but that was the thing. I thought it was over. We had that conversation. I thought the situation was over, but that Felicia bitch just had to keep nagging, had to keep saying her shit. And so I got to the point where after Tucker, after all of this, that my dopamine levels were starting to drop. Yeah. It wasn't as exciting anymore. And I tweeted, well, I think everything's going to get more placid now. I can relax a little bit. And not an hour later, she got fired.
Yes, I saw that.
And I was like, here we go, baby.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah, because isn't she the Felicia journalist?
Yes,
isn't she the reason that David apologized? Isn't that correct?
Yeah, so
why
what
he
what
stopped
she
the
did
retweet?
What she did was she saw his retweet, took a screenshot of my tweet with his where it said Dave Weigel retweeted, and she, in the weakest white girl sarcasm, said, "I'm so happy to work for a place that allows this kind of retweet." And what was funny about this is the way she did it. Instead of quote tweeting and adding a picture showing that, she just did the screenshot, which meant most of the hate that was coming my way, I didn't see unless I went and looked it up.
Yeah.
Everyone was reacting to her tweet, not to mine. And so, like, I do think I was spared. But one of the first things that was in that article I wrote was laughing off the idea that I'm an incel. I have 5 children, dude. I didn't buy them. If I did, they'd be better looking, you know? Like, what do you think? But no, and so, you know, I made fun of that, and, you know, I got a lot of "you're fats." I know I'm fat. What are you going to do? You're going to hurt me with that? No. I keep it around because I love it. But, like, it's just wild because everyone tries to insult me, and I after all of that and the different things I saw, I was like, you know what? I want to test this out. And so, like, probably a week ago, I did a roast on my Twitter, and I only turned off the comments when they got boring. But I just read through all of these things, people trying to actually destroy me, and I was just like, y'all suck at this. I'm better than you.
Dude, that's the best. Well, yeah, you know, when you grow up with a thick skin, like, there's not much. You grow up in the
With
era
this much blubber,
fucking...
you need a thick skin.
Exactly. But, you know, you just grow up in this era currently. Like, I'm so surprised at some of the things that people that at my age and older get offended by. Like, I'm like surprised. Like, I'm like, how, dude? How does that bother you so much that you're like, you have to either go and try and destroy this person's life, or you're gonna, you know, self-delete yourself?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, dude.
Well, and
it's so crazy.
That's what's funny is because I was a chubby kid. I wasn't a fat kid, and I'm not really fat now. I'm just a chubby dude. But I grew up that way, so people tried to make fun of me.
Yeah.
And tried to bully me, and that's why I'm funny today, because I didn't want to fight them. I've only had a couple fights in my life. I'm not a violent dude, because usually I can just destroy them with words and make them cry, or at least I could when I was a kid.
And that's honestly more fun.
Oh, it's the best. Like, this one kid tried to intimidate me, and I don't even remember what I said to him, but it was something about how he cried after getting a 98 instead of 100 on a test, and that little dude started bawling and hid under the stairs for an hour. I don't even think it was that devastating, but it was like that. You find that little point that destroys, and that's what you learn how to do. And it's like, when I did that test to see if anyone could hurt my feelings on the internet, I was like, I think maybe 3 people could, and they have to have such great knowledge of who I am and how my brain works for that to ever happen.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the biggest thing.
Luke could roast the shit out of me, and I could roast the shit out of Luke. I don't think anyone on the internet could roast the shit out of us.
No, there's not anything that you can say to me. People that don't know me, there's not one thing that they could say to me that would hurt my feelings so bad that I'd be like, damn, dude, like, that was rough. Like, the only people that can is like my girlfriend, Typo, and our other buddy Nick. And Nick is like, I can roast him right back, so anything he says to me, I could get back to him tenfold, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings that bad, because I get my licks in too. Like, and the same thing with Typo. Like, that's kind of how it is. But, you know, there's just so many people that are just weak when it comes to shit like that. And I honestly believe they're weak. Like, it's a weakness.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously, like, it hurts their feelings enough that they can't shut up about it, and they get fired from their job.
Yeah,
well,
she
that's
was such a
great,
cunt that she got fired.
What a bitch! Like, literally, she got fired for being a bitch.
Yeah,
it's impressive, and I think
she got the dude suspended and then couldn't let it go.
Yep. Well, and I think one of my favorite tweets from that time, I was thinking of Nick Ashley when I wrote it, because, you know, he always, I love Nick, good guy, but the white women must be stopped that he used as saying for a long time. He may or may not have gotten it from a tweet I did earlier, but it's neither here nor there. There are, and I won't tell you who, but there are entire accounts, and there's even a podcast out there that's directly inspired from my throwaway jokes. but I won't tell you who those people are. Definitely not on there.
It's us.
He's like,
but no,
it's actually a dig at us right now.
What was I saying though? Oh, my favorite tweet was, and I was thinking of Nick when it happened. And I don't think he actually stole that tweet. I think he just came up with it. It's parallel thinking. But I thought of him when I tweeted, you say that white women should be stopped. I stop white women. We're not.
Yeah, dude, I saw that shit.
Yes, I remember that one.
I remember that one, and I was like, what a savage. Because that was when, like, the white women must be stopped thing had been going on for a little bit. And then it was just like, you only talk about white women being stopped. I stopped them. And I was like, and that, I think Typo sent that in our group chat, because we have a group chat with Cole from Tower Gang. And he sent that to that group chat, and he was like, this is fucking legendary or some shit like that. And I was like, dude, that is so badass.
Yeah, dude, I'd say it's like it will go down in libertarian history as possible. Like, I don't know any other libertarians that's gotten a corporate press journalist fired. I don't know.
That's the goal. That's honestly the goal now. Like, that's how you know when you make it now.
Yeah, we gotta get higher than that, dude. We gotta go past. We gotta get the whole place shut down, bro.
We gotta get a city council member shut down, or a fucking.
Well, that's what's so funny is people are like, hey, do it again. Who are you going to get fired next? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
right?
This was, I can't put lightning in a bottle, you idiot. Like, how do you expect me to do this?
I just learned I had this power. Can you give me some time, guys?
For the love of God. No, but, and it was so funny because so many people claimed me. Like, obviously, I've been in the liberty sphere, so libertarians claimed me. And then the MAGA people claimed the fuck out of me. Like,
oh yeah,
okay.
So many of my followers are those ultra MAGA people, ultra MAGA, however you want to say it. But and then my mom claimed me, which is very nice. But
first time,
you're like, I fucking hope so. This is the first time she's ever said she's proud of me being her son.
And that's what was so funny is I told my brother that my brother does comedy or has. And I would write jokes for him and stuff, but I never did it myself. But I tweeted out, my mom loves me the most because I was on Tucker and my brother voted for Biden. And I told him that, and he was like, shit. And I was like, how much did it hurt? And he was like, what? I was like, seeing my face on Bill Maher, seeing my face on Tucker Carlson, on The View, and all labeling me comedian. When that's the only thing you want is for the world to talk about you as a comedian. He goes, oh, it hurt a whole fucking lot, Cam. Thank you for that.
Dude, he can use it as a bit now. Say you're welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, did that hurt? And he was like, dude, I am so jealous of you. It's stupid. And I'm like, well, you're envious because you're not as good of a comedian as I am. So I'm not stealing anything from you.
You're just rubbing it in.
Is he older or younger?
He's older.
That's even better.
Worse.
Well, that's the fun thing about my relationship with my brother is so I was kind of the quiet kid, and he was like my voice for like a long period of my life. And so I was always making jokes quietly, and he was making them loudly and doing impressions. And so there was always this competition to be funnier. Like my whole life, it's been a competition of one of us being funnier than the other. And I fucking won, dude.
I
can't beat me now, bitch.
That's hilarious.
No, but
dude, I gotta go watch when The View said I want to see The View segment on you.
They didn't say much about me. They just kind of showed it, and they talked shit about the woman, the way she was comporting herself. But like Bill Maher, like that's the one to watch. Because
I saw that one.
That one, besides Tucker, obviously, was my favorite one. Because
he did he did a couple minutes on your thing, like your Tucker. 13
minutes, I think.
Yeah, it was quite a while. Like your time that you weren't on Bill Maher, but your tweet got more airtime than your actually being interviewed on Tucker.
And not just that, he read the tweet, the audience laughed, and then he quoted from my article. And so that was the cool thing, was it wasn't just that he mentioned this very little thing. He actually went and read the thing that I wrote and quoted me directly. And I was like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, dude, that is fucking cool.
Also,
It's fucking
I
dope.
sent that video to my brother. I was like, suck it, nerd.
Just one more fuck you.
My mom. So what's funny is, I have an older brother and a little sister, and my mom was just so proud of me in that group chat that we're in, but neither of them said a fucking word. Like it was hilarious. I'm like, they didn't look at it, they didn't mention it, and it was just like I had to go and talk to my brother and rub it in. I called him purely to ask him if he was jealous.
Yeah. You're like, how does it feel to not be able to live up to your little brother?
And he's had to deal with that before because when we were, you wrestle your brother growing up, but he was always like, I think when he was 18, he was maybe 120, 125 pounds, super skinny dude. And I've always been a chubster and about the same size as him. And I remember the day we were in high school, where this dude jumps off the bed to try to tackle me down and fight me, and I caught him and threw him, and he goes, "Oh shit, we can't fight anymore, can we?" I was like, "No."
Well, you can't.
You can't. I mean, I could throw you around if you'd like. And so this is not his first disappointment, but I'm very proud to be part of both of those moments in his life.
There you go.
Dude, I can't tell if you love or hate your brother, dude.
I love him, but it's in that fun brother way.
Yeah.
That, you just like, that was the cool thing, because we were just 3 years apart. But that was the cool thing, was we were far enough apart to not really be rivals most of the time with most things, but the things that we cared about, we were rivals in. So like he would do impressions, I would do impressions better, or vice versa. Like he could do. I'm not going to do any impressions tonight. I did some on my show last night. I'm not going to do it again. I did strong bad, but so there was this competition in this kind of healthier arena than hitting each other or hating each other or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like I love rubbing it in. Like it was like my whole life I've wanted to be considered funnier than my brother, and I can now say that I am. Objectively, I have been voted the funniest brother by the world. So
that's awesome, dude.
Keep writing your spec scripts in Hollywood, nerd.
Dude, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, dude, the whole situation was just really funny watching it unfold on Twitter. And it was just like, and Typo and I were talking about it, we're like, we've been following this guy for a fucking minute, and it's just really cool to see, like, one of your mutuals, somebody that you've seen from 1,000 followers that just joke around back and forth on random posts and whatever, and then you see their shit getting blown up all over the place. It was like, dude, that is fucking dope.
Dude, no, it was so cool, because it was like so one of the things I learned is that you can tell who your friends are and who the people that you want to be around after this situation, because there were two types of people that I was more or less close to digitally. There were the people like you guys who were like, hell yeah, I'm excited, this is really cool. And then there were the shit posters who were jealous. And not Tet. Tet's on my side. He's my boy. We have
That's fucking awesome. I love
there.
Tet. I'm Tet's reply guy.
Oh, are you? But no, but then there were the other shit posters who were jealous, and I won't, like I said, I'm not gonna cause beef. I don't give a shit what these people think. But that they were like trying to downplay it or be mean to me or roast me during this, and I was like, you're not one I keep around. You're not one I keep around. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that I was cheering you on for you. I was just selfish. Like, this could happen to me, dude. Go.
Right, but it's like, but like the wishing that it keeps going is like huge. That's like being a good human being instead of a dickhead. So
for sure.
But no, that's what was so funny. That when I started following both of you, is because y'all were, I think you were on either, you were on the Voluntary Vixens or vice versa. I can't remember the situation. And I edit their shit. So
okay.
No shit.
So
that's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because like several years ago, I started a network with a friend, and we had like 5 or 6 shows on the network that we worked on, and I edited 2 or 3 of them, including my own, and then he would edit 2. And so it's defunct now, because like really hard to want to do libertarian shit when you don't care about it anymore.
Understandable.
But so the only other one besides me is the Voluntary Vixens, and so I distinctly remember you guys because your audio was so fucked up. And I
we
was
hear
like,
that from the fans all the time.
well, it wasn't just the sound. It was like I had, in you know, having the intermediary of Jesse, I guess, and I was like, I forget who it was, which one of you it was. I was like, is he gonna send all of his audio, because this is like 4 words. Like,
Whoa.
Oh yeah, I
None of it
think
was
I
here.
remember that. I think I remember that, and then I think I had, because I was doing the audio for both Typo and I, but I think Typo's audio fucked up for some reason, and
Yeah,
I had to
something
send
like
like
that.
his whole file.
Right. Now I remember doing that and going, I mean, I don't blame you. Like, I can't blame you for what happened, but I was just, my first real memory of you guys was like, fucking hell, this audio's fucked up.
Yep,
That makes sense, dude. That's on brand, buddy.
that was part of the show, man. That's exactly what Typo said. Part of the fucking brand.
So yeah, no, that's the thing. We've had fun on Twitter, and I've liked having you guys around. And I always, when I lost my other account, I made sure to follow you guys pretty quickly. But it's like, let me tell you, when you have 6,000 people follow you, all of a sudden, you get suddenly really choosy about who you follow back.
I know, right?
Oh,
Dude, I
yeah.
got choosy once like I hit 2,000. I was like, I don't really want to follow, because then you get shit. But that's the thing. Like once you get a certain, like once you start following a certain amount of people, there's too much shit that you don't care about.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yep.
all right, they had one good tweet. Like I'm not gonna go back. Like there's people that are like, oh, I liked this person, but I've never had a conversation with them, so I don't really want to see anything that they're saying. But when you have that conversation that's long drawn out in your threads and you're like, oh dude, this guy's fucking funny, then you follow them, and it's just, Twitter's a weird fucking space, but it's awesome. It's my little cesspool that I like to roll around in.
And that's what's so fun about it, is because I've been in this liberty space for so long, but part of my ethos, after, like we talked about sort of earlier, was like, I'm not sucking anyone's dick to get ahead. Yeah. And so it was like, I didn't make it into all of the little cliques, because I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to suck your toes. I'm not going to do it. It's not on the menu today. Fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so it's so funny, like the way I've made my way into any sort of, anyone knowing me has just been me fucking making fun of people and connecting with the truly good shit posters.
Yeah.
And that's that, like, I mean, y'all, I'm sure your GC is great, but boy.
Yeah, well, we're in a whole bunch of GCs, and we're just like, nah, like I'm not a part of it. Like I'm in probably 4 or 5 that talk on a daily basis, and I just got put in it, and I feel bad to leave, so I just
I mean, I have one of those now. I've been put in a lot in the past, and I always leave, because it's like, I don't like, unless it's a very specific group, I don't care to hear about. Like it took me long enough to warm up in the group that I'm in now, and it's the best group. So like it's one person, the last person we let in, I was like, well, welcome, you've leveled up. And I'm just saying, if you have dreams, this is the one to put on the list, is all I'm saying.
that group chat. All right, well, we'll have to put some funny tweets out. We'll get in that group chat.
We'll see if we can get someone fired, and maybe we can get in.
What I love is just being able to be that confident when I'm just so full of shit. It's just a bunch of retarded people in that group chat.
That's how we get through life, dude.
Just overbearingly confident for no goddamn reason.
Well, and that's what's so funny, is like people be like, with this whole thing, like, don't let your head get too big. And that was people who were jealous, by the way. Yeah. People who said that was jealous people. But I was like, I can't let that happen. I have a healthy sense of self-hatred that will never go away.
Exactly.
So we're good.
Yeah. As long as you have that healthy sense of self-hatred, which is what fuels most of my comedic aspects of my life, is just self-depreciating humor. So as long as I keep that, I'll be all right.
I tweeted that, I quote tweeted that person, and I said that, I have enough self-hatred to never let that happen. And I got a call from my mom, and she was like, hey. And I was like, what? What's going on? She was like, are you okay? And I was like, what? What are you saying? And she goes, I just saw on the internet that you said you hate yourself, and I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm like, Mom, it's a fucking joke. I don't hate myself. I love myself more than my wife loves me. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. My mom would freak out. Like my mom, like I had a lot of suicide jokes growing up. I didn't mean it. Clearly, and my mom was like, she hated that. She did not like that we would make a suicide. Me and my sister.
They're the best jokes. They're the best jokes.
I would say them more often, but Twitter kind of punishes you for them.
Yeah. Right after that whole situation, we had Josh Denny on our show. I don't know if you know Josh.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
But my mom was watching it. Moms shouldn't watch Josh Denny episodes.
Oh no.
She left like maybe 40 minutes in, and I was like, I texted her later. I was like, sorry about that. It wasn't for you. And now you see, if like on my YouTube, I now have a rating of explicit, or if it's an episode coming up, potentially explicit. That way my mom knows whether or not to listen.
That's good.
That's smart. My parents just never listen. They're like, I know how you talk with your friends, so we're just not gonna listen. And I'm like, I'm cool with that.
My wife's uncle, we invited him on Facebook into a group that was just making fun of boomers.
Oh my God.
Just making fun of boomers. That's it. Nothing, and there was nothing racial. There was nothing, anything like that. Like, it was just making fun of boomers. And he left the group in a huff and has hated me ever since and called me a thinly veiled racist. And I have no fucking idea why.
Whoa, dude.
Like, what?
Yeah, you can be racist against the boomers, bro.
I barely posted, and yes, I'm racist against boomers and white women. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, dude, that's hilarious. Yeah, Facebook. People get serious about their Facebook groups. You gotta watch out for that.
Dude,
I avoid. We had a Facebook page, and that was the first thing that got banned, and we didn't really care about Facebook that much. And I don't really. I share memes on Facebook sometimes, but I only get like 2 likes. It's not good for my dopamine hits, so I kind of stopped. I stopped using Facebook.
I stopped using it for the most part too. But so when I started my show originally in 2016, it was called Make Liberty Great Again. And when we were doing
where you got that from?
But when we were doing that, we had that Facebook group, and it had several hundred people in there. We'd been talking for years, right? And we also trolled the hell out of prominent libertarian figures like Jason Stapleton.
Okay.
Which is my favorite thing that we ever did. But it started on October 31st of 2016, and it was literally deleted, completely deleted, October 31st of 2020. Our 4th anniversary, they deleted the group, and so since then I haven't used it at all.
Damn.
Like I'll post my show stuff sometimes, but
ours didn't even make it a year. I don't think ours even made it a year.
But we did with we didn't talk to anyone really. The only thing we did was share memes, and more fucked up. Yeah. And link to our new episode, and that was all we did. And I think that's why maybe we got like Facebook. We actually had I don't know. I think we got like 2,000 people that like followed us on Facebook, but I mean, I don't even know. I think it was 9/11 memes that got us banned, dude. I don't even remember exactly what.
It was definitely 9/11 memes.
Liberty memes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They're the ones that 2 of mine they used, and those were the first 2 that I ever saw get deleted. What was my favorite one though? Favorite meme I ever made was there was this military kind of thing of, this is how you hang your flag, not this, right? And so it was like showing which one was backwards or whatever. And so what I did was on the "this is how you should hang your flag" sign, I erased some of the flag and added flames going up of it. This is how you should hang your flag, not this. And that and one about cops shooting dogs both got removed off their account. So I'm at least 2 of their strikes.
Damn, dude, you're just giving people strikes.
That's what I'm going. That's what I'm here. Well, speaking of, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. With the propaganda report, one episode that I did with Monica was removed from Spotify. Like they removed the episode.
For what?
And it's because I grew up in the time when the internet, when people would send you to like rotten.com and you'd see dead bodies all the time. And so like,
Yeah.
you know what it looks like when there's a real dead body on a picture. And I looked at the photos that were in a place with a gold and blue flag where war crimes allegedly happened. I'm hedging my words here so you don't get removed from anything in this way, because this is what they get you for. But I'd said I looked at those pictures and they didn't ring true. They didn't look real.
Oh wait, wait, that's what got you banned?
That's what got an episode of the propaganda report removed from Spotify. Was me
because you said
questioning
they didn't look real. That's so crazy, dude.
Yep.
Oh my god, those bastards, dude.
Yeah, man. It was so funny because Monica was on some other show not that long ago, and she was like, Cam's very reckless online, but the dude she was talking to was like, I want to be the next Cam Harless, and I was like, that's a fucking weird thing to hear. She was like, he's really reckless, and he shaved his head. I'm worried about skinhead, and I'm like, no one looks at me and thinks skinhead. Like, that's not what people are thinking. They're thinking redneck probably. Yeah, but she was like, he's reckless and all this, and I was like, hell yeah, I am. You wouldn't know my name if I wasn't reckless.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, it's true, dude.
Exactly. You're not wrong.
You wouldn't know who I was if I wasn't a shit poster. Like, come on.
You're not wrong.
Well, buddy, we've been going for a while, so we probably, I don't know. How long have we been going? Like almost 2 hours?
Yeah,
hour.
I don't know. But that was like, y'all are pretty good at this, because that was I finished that sentence and I went, that was the lull. This is the time to stop. I felt it.
It was perfect, dude. I had such a good time with you, and we're gonna have to do it again. You can be reckless on our show all you want. So
yeah,
that's true. I have never said fag on my show.
Oh, well,
because
you always say it all the time, baby.
Yeah.
Because there are just some things that I don't do because of the audience that because I'm doing different things for like a wider audience, and so it's like, I keep some things below. The first time fag was said on my show was by Josh Denny.
Nice. Yeah. Your mom was like, 40-minute mark, I'm out.
That's when we know you say it.
Lady.
Where he says it.
She was like, these masturbation jokes are too much for me. We were talking, and I'll say this and we can wrap up, but we were talking about how if you watch porn, the reason while we'll watch straight porn with a dude having sex with a chick is because we can imagine that dick is our dick. Yeah. Right? We can put ourselves into that dick, if that makes sense. And so we were talking about that, and it doesn't matter if it's a big dick, a black dick, it doesn't matter. It's our
mine
dick
in
when
that
we're watching
moment.
it. And we were talking about that, and I think that's when my mom goes, okay, bye.
Yeah, I think if my mom listened to me talk about stuff like that, she'd be scarred. She would look at me differently, dude.
Right. My mom does. She's like, I'm proud of you, but at the same time,
I'm so disappointed.
Don't say these things. She said, I'm disappointed. I love all of you, and I'm proud of you all in different ways, and I'm also disappointed in all of you in different ways. Thanks, Mom.
That's hilarious, dude. Where can people find you, buddy? Where can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at HamCarless. Our show's pretty good, I think. But if you want to listen to it, it's on all the podcatchers, or you can go directly to wearethemadOnes.com. If you want to watch it, we do the show right now every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time live. And so it's on the other ones like Rockfin and Odyssey and Rumble. But if you want to be a part of the conversation, YouTube is still the best way. So youtube.com/themadOnes. But yeah, that's where you'll find me. Otherwise, at HamCarless, where I'm just going to be shitting on whoever I want to shit on that day.
Let's go. Well, go follow his shit. It'll be in the show notes as well. We'll make sure to put everything in there. And then thanks again, buddy. It was a really good time.
It was. Thank you guys for having me. Because I was like, remember when you asked, and I was like, why haven't we done this before? We've been mutuals.
We're gonna have to
so
do it
long.
more. We're gonna have to do it more. That's something that we realized too. We were just like, man, we need to start talking to the people that we talk to more, because we were trying to get people that we like, that we enjoyed to look at, but we never really interacted with. And it's like, I like talking to the people that I talk to, so why not bring them on the show? So it's just worked out better that way.
Talk to the people that you talk to or that make you laugh.
Exactly.
Fuck the rest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we ain't sucking dick for likes over here.
No dick sucking on this show. Not on mine either.
All right, well, that's the fucking shit show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We out.
Setting fire to the blunt of allowable opinion.